Oh yeah, Wolves are. So like Sheffield United, like I say, have lost their best player. A lot of their better players from last year were loans, and they haven't been able to get them back. I think it was Tommy Doyle and McAtee from City.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's just enjoy the year, enjoy the away trips, Sheffield United fans. I don't think it's not going to be an enjoyable season.
Enjoy the losses.
Wolves are an absolute car crash, though.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like Wolves and West Ham this summer are having like a little mini competition so you can send their fan base into a depressive state quicker. Do you know what I mean? Like, and Wolves are definitely winning it because at least we're signing people. Like, we're leaving it late, but like you say, Neves gone, Coutinho gone, even Jimenez. I know Jimenez hasn't been the same player since the injury, but like, he's gone.
Connor Cody's gone. Like,
Cody's gone.
He was the captain until they shipped him out on loan.
And there's all they've brought in is Matt Doherty back on a free transfer.
Yeah.
Like,
they've signed Boubacar Traore, young midfielder from Metz. They've signed Matthias Cunha, who like he looked like a decent player last year, but like they spent 50 million on him. On a forward player that's not going to score him goals. They've lost Jimenez. And granted, Jimenez, he unfortunately hasn't looked the shadow of the player that he was before he had that horrible injury. Understandably so. I can imagine, like we were saying earlier, players lose their confidence. I can imagine that being the biggest confidence hit when you get your head smashed.
Yeah.
That's but you know, him still being an option there was good for them, but I don't see where they score goals. I don't see how they keep the goals out, and I only see them going down. Prove me wrong, Wolves, but like
the thing is as well. I understand. I feel bad for saying this about Gary O'Neill, right? Because I thought we said Eddie Howe should have won Manager of the Year last year. I actually think Gary O'Neill should have been with a shout. I don't think Gary O'Neill was even nominated last year. I thought he did a phenomenal job last season with that Bournemouth team. Because Scott Parker was right. He shouldn't have said it, but he was right. The team wasn't really good enough to stay up. But obviously, they got the extra investment in January to bring players in. But like O'Neill made them a really difficult team to beat, but they weren't necessarily boring to watch either. Like they still tried to go and win games. They just made them a lot better defensively. The difference is though, like, it's so much easier to do that, I think, when you're the underdog. And Bournemouth, everyone had Bournemouth finishing rock bottom last season. Like, they even did a video about it. Like, with all the people who finished 20th. I think it's a lot easier to galvanise that group and use that as motivation to sort of go, let's go prove all these people wrong. Like, we're underdogs, but let's go out there and do what we can to stay up. Wolves, I can't imagine players like Matthias Cunha and Matthias Nunes and the players in that Wolves team are going to have that same mentality, just because I don't think they signed up for a relegation battle when they joined Wolves. And I've seen it before with West Ham teams down the years when you sign players, you sign certain players. Like we had that year where we had like Felipe Anderson and people like that, and they join because they think you're going to level up, and then you have a bad start to the season, and then it gets worse, and because those players haven't got the right attitude, or they just think, I didn't sign up for this, screw it, if we go down, it doesn't bother me, I'll just get a move somewhere else anyway. They just stop putting the effort in the performances, and it just snowballs.
It's very reminiscent of Leeds, because look at the mentality of a lot of the players at Leeds last year when things were going wrong. Look how many players have just left, who are looking to leave. Like I say, I'm not playing, and they're just out of the door.
And it's not like they've brought O'Neill in and he can then go and bring in some of those types of players that are going to be up for the fight. Like they haven't got the money to do it. They can't even fork up £5 million to sign Aaron Cresswell. Like they just, for whatever reason, FFP, the owner's got financial troubles. They can't buy anyone. So you're just kind of stuck with what you've got. So unless you just take a punt and go, let's get some of the kids in, because they'll care. Like I'm not saying the Wolves players currently don't care, but I'm just saying when it starts going wrong, don't be surprised to see a lot of them start down tools. Because like Matthias Nunes has been linked with Liverpool since he went to Wolves. Like he'll know, I think he's George Mendes' agent. He knows he'll get a move if they go down. Same with Cunha. He'll go back to Spain. He'll be fine. Like they're a mess. And like I said, the fact Lopetegui's walked pretty much. Like I think it's just they just agreed. I think he wanted to leave and they just agreed a compensation package or whatever. But the fact he looks at him and went, I'm not working with this.
Yeah.
Like
the worry is that it took this long for him to get out the door. That's the worry. When it, like, if it was the start, like the end of last season, or like even like 2 months ago or a month ago, it gives a new manager time to come in and see what he's got to work with and see if he can get anything to work.
Yeah,
like we say, we're 3 days away from the season starting. Like, and the quality of the teams in that in the mid table now, you have a bad first 10, 15 games and you cut adrift.
Yeah. It's going to be a long season for Wolves. My sympathies are very much with Dave Azzopardi.
I was going to say poor Azzopardi. We'll have to get him on around January, and if he's if he's not hit the bottom of the bottle already.
I was going to say, if he can get himself out of bed.
Yeah.